All right, shalom. This is Kanaksa Anban Yasharala from the Lions in the Yasharala camp. And first and foremost, I'd like to give all praises to Kai Halayim, by Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai, by Hashem Harakakudash Ma'amah. Double honors to the elder apostles of Great Millstone, and salutations to the Akim that are pushing the truth and sincerity and truth, and peace and blessings to the men, women, and children that believe in the name of Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai. All right. This is Malachi 4:1. It says, "For behold, that day cometh that shall burn as an oven, and all the proud, yea, all that do wickedly shall be stubbled, and all day that cometh shall burn them up, saith the Lord, Yahweh Shai of armies of hosts, that it shall leave them neither root nor branch." All right. I'm starting out with this because of this article that I want to go into, and the name of the article says, "Can a war begin in the Middle East?" And the answer to that question, according to the scriptures, is a war is inevitable in the Middle East. All right. According to Joel chapter 3. All right. And so that's going to be the end all tell all when Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai gathers all the nations into the valley of Yahweh Shaphat, or Armageddon, which means Armageddon, which means mountain of troops, or Yahweh Shaphat, which means Yahweh's judgment. All right. So the question mark there should be it should be more of a statement versus a question, because it's inevitable. No matter how you try to de-escalate what's going down in the Middle East, so-called Middle East, Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai at his opportune moment is gonna heat things up. All right. And that's just it. As a matter of fact, let me get a scripture real quick. All right. So when the Lord's ready, he's going to turn things up. All right. He's holding back to make sure all the elect are sealed. All right. This is Ezekiel chapter 12, verse 28. It says, "Therefore say unto them, thus saith the Lord, there shall none of my words be prolonged any more, but the word which I have spoken shall be done, saith the Lord." And what did he speak? You know, he spoke of a war over there in that land. All right, so I'm gonna get a little bit of the article. It says, where does it start at? It says, if Iran uses its force and fighters, which include Afghani and Pakistani forces, to launch an attack near Israel-Syrian border, or another attack against American interests in Persian Arab Gulf states, it is possible that a war could occur sooner rather than later in the Middle East. The number of non-Iranian mercenaries are very large. The number of Afghanis range between 15 and 20,000 fighters. Pakistani fighters have 5 to 10,000 fighters, in addition to the thousands of Iraqis and Syrians. The number of fighters in the Iran Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, which is considered a terrorist group, between 8 and 10,000 fighters, in addition to 5 or 6,000 soldiers in the Iranian regular army, according to the estimates of 2016. All right. In view of what has happened in 2018, the direct conflict between Israel and Iran is not only looming, but it is already happening, and began with the penetration of Iranian drone aircraft into Israel airspace, and the dropping of a Syrian artillery on an Israeli F-16 fighter after it launched attacks on Syrian and Iranian positions on the border between the two countries. All right, so so just like how I read in Ezekiel 12 and 28, said, now the thing that the Lord has spoken shall not be prolonged any longer. So the last prophecy to come to pass after the RFID chip and everything like that, is Israel and Iran going to war. And that's when you're going to get all the missiles flying everywhere. And that's when Israel's going to be blow to smithereens, but it's going to be built back up by these other nations when we put them in captivity. But America's going to be blown to smithereens but it's not going to be inhabited again. All right. So and that's according to Isaiah chapter 13. All right, and which is going to escalate with Russia, which they're the Medes in Isaiah chapter 13, and the bear in Ezekiel. All right. So these are the things that we need to have come to pass in order for, these prophecies need to come to pass, and the more they come to pass is the closer we are to getting out of here. So we look for these things to happen. All right. When the rest of our people, you got people that don't want to see the signs of war because they don't, the aftermath of war and the casualties of war. But we understand that when these wars and things break out, that the Father told us about it in the beginning. He spoke of it. He told us all his secrets. Yahweh Shai told us all the secrets of the Father, so we can prepare ourselves. And how do we prepare ourselves? We prepare ourselves by teaching, studying, and help wake up the elect and having faith. That's how we prepare ourselves ultimately. Having faith in the name of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. All right. It says, meanwhile, Iran attacked many times American interests in Saudi Arabia and kidnapped many foreign oil tankers in the Persian Arab Gulf. And the last attack was Iran's proxies attacked Saudi America oil production plants. That could lead to, I should say that could lead to an American operation against Iran, like the first Gulf War, known as Operation Desert Shield in 1991. And that's what Iran is really waiting on. They're not, as it stands right now, they're not looking to throw the first punch. But Saudi Arabia is looking for America to bust a move after the attack on the Saudi America oil production plants. And I got another article talking about that. I'm going to do the lesson on that in a minute as a continuation on this one. All right. And so now Saudi Arabia is like, hey, man, you came in and did this regime change, and you said you were going to protect us. Now what's happening now? And this the approach that America's going, this passive approach that America is taking against Iran is not cutting it for Saudi Arabia. They're saying we need something to happen and something to happen now, according to the article that I read dealing with that. All right, that I was going to do on the next lesson. All right, so it says so it's going to be like the first Gulf War in 1991, and really they've been since I think like 1979, if I'm not mistaken. They've had interest of going over there and controlling what happens over there in the Middle East as far as oil production and trade. So they've always had some type of interest or helping out with proxy wars to weasel their way in to have influence on what goes on over there. But they said the first operation, or like American operation against Iran, was Operation Desert Shield, and shortly thereafter you had Desert Storm, and they had all kind of operations after that. So America, with all these operations, they think they're surgeons. But anyway, it says Iran hosts Al Qaeda terrorists in Tehran and also fund them. This is nothing new for a country which is considered as the main supporter for terrorists worldwide. And the main supporter for terrorists worldwide is America, man. All right, even the 9/11 attacks were facilitated by the planning of Iran in cooperation with the Al Qaeda terrorists. Nah, we all know that 9/11 was an inside job done by America itself to try to place the blame on Saudi Arabia and the other Middle Eastern countries that they wanted to change the regime in, so they could have say so what goes on with the oil production and trade. So they can keep trying to push that envelope all they want, but people really actually know what happened with that situation. All right, it says we have to be careful about the increase of Iran's influence in Syria and its military expansion in the Middle East. This could sooner or later cause a major conflict between the Israelis and the Iranians, and that's what we want to get out of here, man. And we want that chip to be pushed too. In addition to the above mentioned concerns, tensions are due to other factors as well. The efforts of Hezbollah and Syria, with the help of Iran, to produce high precision missiles in Lebanon and Syria that could paralyze Israel's vital infrastructure and make life intolerable, and Iran's efforts to turn Syria into a starting point for operations against Israel and a platform to highlight the power of the Levant on the other. But as Iran pursues an anti-status agenda that has often caused a conflict with Israel and the United States. All right. So any conflict that Israel has, the United States is going to get involved anyway. All right. It has shown that it is seeking to avoid conventional wars and the heavy losses of its forces. Instead, it relies on an implementation of proxy. All right, so they've been fighting proxy wars forever, like sending like militias, and you have the elites funding both sides, supplying weaponry and money to the militias, and supplying weaponry and money to the people that are supposed to be fighting against the militias. Right? So it's all a big game to get America out of the way, right? And to bring forth the new world order, man. But the Most High, Yahweh Shem Yahushua, is only going to let it go so far before he puts a stop to it. But the devil is too proud to see that. He really thinks that his plan is going to happen, and he thinks that, and according to his eyes, his plan is going. His plan is going as it's going as planned. Right? There's no hangups or anything. This is exactly how the devil wants it to go. Okay, where was I at? All right. It says it said instead it relies on implementation of proxy operations, terrorism, and influential but non-lethal activities. Non-lethal, right? It says, however, they are also willing to venture into high risk activities involving potential escalation. United States President Donald Trump has taken an anti-Iranian position since he ran for president and vowed to end the nuclear deal reached by the Obama administration with the Islamic Republic. Trump accused Tehran of destabilizing the region shortly after he took office and stressed the need to impose further sanctions on its nuclear and ballistic programs. All right, so these sanctions is the reason why Iran is taking force and bombing Saudi Arabia. So, and he was implying on laying more sanctions as a response to that. But the sanction is going to cause it to escalate, as I stated in the last lesson that I did. All right, it says Israel is not the only country threatened by Iran, but Iran's ballistic program may enable it to target other areas in the region, according Arab Gulf states and Slovakia, including Arab Gulf states, noting that Tehran now has the largest reservoir of ballistic missiles in the Middle East. If war happens, it will involve Israel and the Arab state. All right, and that's if I'm not mistaken, that's one of the things that Albert Pike wrote in his New World Order letter speech thing. All right, this is the third war and Albert Pike's war quote for the New World Order. It says, the Third World War must be fomented by taking advantage of the differences caused by the agenture of the Illuminati between the political Zionists and the leaders of the Islamic world. Now, going back to what I was just reading, all right, where does it say that? All right, back to the article. It says, if war happens, it will involve Israel and the Arab states, mainly Saudi Arabia, the UAE, Bahrain, Egypt, and Jordan. And a lot of those places are highly Islamic state places. All right, so it would be the Zionists, meaning Israel, against the Islamic world. And that was all scripted for the three major wars to end all, and the end all tell all being World War III. And that's the setup of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. But this devil is so prideful, he thinks it's him doing all this. All right? But it's Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. You know? All right, I'm gonna get the scripture to end it. This is Joel chapter 3, and I'm gonna put a link to the article in the description box. All right, this is Joel chapter 3, verse 1. It says, for behold, in those days and in that time when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem. So we're waiting on these things to come to pass so the Lord can turn back our captivity. It says, I will gather all nations and bring them down into the valley of Yahweh Shaphat and plead with them there for my people and for my heritage Israel, from whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land. And all right, and that's just it, man. So when we see these things come to pass, we're supposed to look up, because our salvation is nearer than what we believe, man. All right, and I hope this lesson was edifying and served its purpose. And that's why I say, Kal Halayim, La Yahweh, Ba Hashem Yahweh Shai, Ba Hashem Harakakwadash Ma'amah. Double honors to the elder apostles of Great Millstone, and salutations to the Akim that are pushing this truth and sincerity and truth, and peace and blessings to the men, women, and children that believe in the name of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. All right, shalom.